What's good, people? How you doing out there? This is Destrin checking in from the Brethren Podcast. We're here with Cousin Ed of Cousin Ed's Corner. What we wanted to let you know is, number one, we appreciate you checking in with us. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, and supporting the platform. We also wanted to let you know that this is information. This is used for informational purposes only. This is not financial advice and should not be used as such. Please consult your financial advisor should you feel the need to make an investment decision, a financial decision, or a decision that may be impactful to your family from a tax advantage standpoint. What we want to do is bring you content that is eye-opening, glaring, and also provides you the opportunity to explore, ask better questions, and be better prepared for the opportunities that await you. Again, this is Cousin Ed's Corner, and we hope that we can be of service to you. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it.
I'm glad to have y'all back. This is going to be another show with another queen that I have in the neighborhood. She's joining us on Cousin Ed's Corner for Financial Freedom Friday. She's going to be all over the block. She's going to be back again. I'm putting in the atmosphere. But as I always say, it's so many dynamic people out here that I'm meeting. And I seen this young lady on Instagram and on TikTok, and she was helping others do finance. And I wanted to bring her on just to help us out and talking in the neighborhood and on the corner, on Cousin Ed's Corner, about some of the things that, in our community that we might not know about, some things we might not touch very often, some things we might not sit down at our cousin's house and talk about, but I think that's needed. So this beautiful young lady is out of Chicago, and her name is Danielle Ortiz. And Danielle, welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Thank you so much for having me, Cousin Ed. Truly appreciate it. Appreciate the love, and just how we connected.
Oh, definitely. It's true and organic. Like I said, people hear me say this all the time. People ask me why I say it over and over. I hate social media. I really do. I hate social media so much. And I stayed off of it for many years, even having a show previous to this. And I had to embrace it going into Cousin Ed's Corner. And now I'm able to meet people like yourself and see the things that you're doing and bring them to the community. So it is a gift and a curse, and you're definitely a gift to us. So
Absolutely. Like I said, such a pleasure to even be on and, just to be able to educate the community.
Well, I'd like to also just find out a little bit about yourself. Cause, I don't know if you remember that Holiday Inn commercial. You see some people that say they know what they're talking about because they stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. But I like to educate. I like to let the community know who you are, personally, and then let them know your background in this finance and who they're talking to that can actually help them. So if you don't mind, just little background about who you are. I don't need to hear the Pamper story, but a little bit. When I was,
like long walks on the beach, no. Born and raised in Chicago, and Puerto Rican descent, first generation born in the United States, and grew up. And one thing that I always vaguely remember growing up was when my mom would take us shopping every year for school. That was the only time we really went shopping. And every time I would point out something, I would go up to my mom and say, "Hey, Ma, I would like to get this." And the first thing she'd do is look at the tag, and then she would go back to the sales rack and say, "You know what? I found something that looks similar to that." And I never really got it till, I was 16, 17. So I was about 16 because that's when I got my first job. And I said, "Ma, why do you keep going back to the sales rack?" She's like, "Oh, well, if you can get a better bang for your buck, why not get it?"
Mhm.
And so I said, "You know what, Ma?" I said, "I want to get my own job so I can be able to buy my own school clothes because I feel like I felt like I was a burden to my parents." And I knew, they would say I wasn't. But for me, just to be able to get what I wanted was big for me. So I've actually been working since I was 16, and I'm now 36.
Oh, no. You lie. I have to see your paperwork.
No, listen, it's it's the melanin in the skin, you know,
There
because
you
Puerto
go.
Ricans,
Oh, look,
what we're mixed
look.
with.
Yes, we all the
We are
same.
Caribbean.
And
Absolutely, absolutely.
you said Chicago. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So you're my sister. I grew up just in that community all the way around. So I heard the Queen in the background. I believe you have two
I have two. They are 6 and 5.
princesses. Uh,
Yep.
okay.
They always want to
Um,
be with mama and dad.
hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And listen, when you come over to your cousin's house, you don't leave your kids at home. You let them go play with the other cousins and everything. So they good. Don't worry about that. So okay, you grew up there, 16. You get a job after high school. What's After high school? What's next?
After high school, I actually, so, I'm sure you've been following me for a minute. I actually tried
Mm-hmm.
out American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a Greyhound bus to Cleveland to try out. Found out it was rigged.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go through 3 rounds in order to get to the big people. Then I dabbled in college. I dabbled in college probably 3 different times in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
it just wasn't for me.
Guess what? Sorry to cut you off. I just saw a story yesterday. 86-year-old woman just got her master's. She got no, I think 86. And 82, at 82, she got her bachelor's. So it's always time for us.
At this point, it's just me going to get a piece of paper.
Yeah,
That's where
that's
I'm
it.
at.
Yeah. So you did that. And what brought you towards your career in finance?
Absolutely. So, I honestly did not wake up one day say I wanted to get into it. My accounting courses in college have always been, they always excited me. Money has always excited me. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I'm more specifically in the life insurance industry. And what got me in was my grandmother, because we're told to go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Nobody's talking to us about finance. And so when we hear life insurance, the first thing we think about is we're getting older. Maybe we should get our affairs in order, right? Well, that's what we thought for my grandmother. My grandmother was battling Alzheimer's and dementia at the time. And so for me, my mom called me, and we had just gotten life insurance, and she said, talk to your life insurance friends and see if we could get your grandmother covered. And she said it's probably going to be super expensive because of her age, but I said, don't worry, Ma. I said, we'll come together if anything. And so I reached out to my life insurance agent at the time, and she just responded with, unfortunately, she won't be able to get covered. And I said, no, because they work with multiple companies. I said, go back, talk to the other companies that y'all work for. And she said, no, unfortunately, she's a higher risk. And so with that, I asked the question, because the type of life insurance that we had what's called living benefits. So in the event, God forbid, something happens, heart attack, stroke, cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, or you have to go to a nursing home, then with that, you can actually tap into that death benefit up to 80%.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I asked the what if question. I said, had my grandmother had one of y'all's policies before she had been diagnosed, would she have been able to tap into what you call those living benefits? And they said, unfortunately, yes. So for me, I just set off on a mission and crusade to be able to educate the communities on the benefit of life insurance, no longer being about death.
Keyword life.
Bingo.
There you go. So, how long have you been in this?
I've been doing this going on 4 years, next month.
Okay.
February 27th.
Okay. And you are licensed in how many states? 20
states.
Okay. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, I'll definitely leave the information at the end of the show. But I wanted to stay right there on the life insurance part. A lot of us growing up is not pressed. I mean, let me back up. In our community, they used to have life insurance policies, and the guy used to come to the house and give them a toaster or something like that. And it wasn't worth the toaster that they got. It was enough possibly to bury them, and that's it. It wasn't any value behind it. They never could use a life insurance policy. And the Rockefellers and JP Morgan, I mean, everybody has had life insurance and able to use it in different ways. What are some ways that we might not know about that are out there?
You know, and I agree with you. It's fast forward to today, we've seen, oh, I've had life insurance for years, but it's literally barely enough to cover them. And I think back, like, why weren't they educated? Like the Rockefellers, like the JP Morgan Chase, and things of that nature. But I think all they saw was the demographic. They were trying to get in and out. They got their sale. They were covered. And that was it. Nowadays, all the things that you can do, man, you know, save up for college, for your kids' college, save up for them to buy a car. If they don't want to go to college, you can have money saved up so they can purchase a building. They can start their own business, put money into a franchise. The options are literally endless to retirement, because when things get to retirement, another thing to get through, right?
Mm-hmm. So with those kind of options now, why are they not publicized more in our community?
I just don't think there's enough of us. There's honestly not enough agents that look like both you and me to get the information into our communities. Because the companies that I work with, so I'm a broker. The companies that I'm partnered with, if you were to call them, the first thing they're going to do is send you to a field agent. But the only thing with that is who can you trust, right? Because you can call somebody and they may just be out to get the commission, get that quick sale. For me, anybody that's a part of me, because my grandmother was the reason I even got into this business. It wasn't even the money. I was like, I'll make a couple extra dollars. Cool. But for me, everybody that I've been able to service has literally become a part of my family.
Well, I must say this, and I must thank you publicly. So before this show, I like to talk to my guests and just have a basic conversation. And me and Danielle had a conversation. It hasn't been weeks ago before even getting on today, but she reached out to me in between and said, "How are you?" And I was confused by the question. Not pleasantries as "How are you?" She wanted to know how I was financially and how I was with insurance. And I did not feel that it was a conversation of, trying to sell me. It was a conversation of, I want to make sure you're good. And that speaks on what you just said about family, and not only being a client to someone. She wanted to see what kind of policies I had and make sure that, she understood that I understood finance. And she wanted to make sure that my policies were up to par and checking it out for me, not trying to sell me something to say, okay, I want to make sure that you have X, Y, and Z within your policies. And this is her not even knowing me from only one conversation. We may send show notes about other shows that she does and other shows that I do, but we don't know each other in that format. So she is truly about the people. I just want to make sure I say that, truly about the people. So I appreciate that about you, and thank you for even asking about me as a person.
I appreciate you bringing it up. I was like, that to me, that was just nothing. I guess that's how natural it comes to me. Just checking on you, making sure you're good. Because like I said, there's times people think they have one thing and they don't.
I do understand that. So I think part of the question that I asked you earlier about why we don't know about it, I think that if I see these, not memes, but these quotes now, if everybody had life insurance, we wouldn't have cops killing, in our community. And even within our community, a lot of people wouldn't want to, so we publicize all of the Kardashians, we publicize all the new Jordans, we publicize all of that, but we don't have classes on the steps on what we need to do. And I think shows like this and just what you do on TikTok and what you do on Instagram we'll continue to help in the community for people to reach out and learn more about it. In saying that, why do you feel that, and I'm trying to tiptoe around some things because it's personal for some people, that they feel that the status of things is more important than insurance or making sure their family, their generation is okay?
Because of where people's priorities are. Unfortunately, people's priorities are in the material things. People's priorities are in the here and now and what can I get here and now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in securing the future and things of that nature. But the craziest thing is the Kardashians. People like the Kardashians. Their dad set them up.
Exactly.
That's why they are where they're at. And yeah, they're in business and they're doing what they need to do, but guaranteed they have somebody in their corner that is setting everything up financially. But they don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk, sex and drugs sell. But life insurance and what it can do, it's like no, it's not. It's not. And that's why my company is we're bringing sexy back, right?
See you dancing in the videos. Go ahead.
Through the life insurance industry, because it's just that the money that can be accumulated in these policies, being tax-free, being able to pull from tax-free, it's a game changer. And I love the fact that you brought up, I literally just had this conversation with a friend of mine, I want to say either yesterday or it was probably 2 days ago, where had everybody in the hood had life insurance. God forbid something happens, of course, right? You have the innocent bystanders, you have people thinking that they're someone and they're not, but they would have the funds to be able to hire the top attorneys to be able to dig in on these cases. Because right now we're unfortunately bearing these kids with no money. And
we got money. Hold on. I'm sorry to cut. We got money. We got GoFundMe.
Oh man, GoFundMe is not life insurance, brother.
We got a GoFundMe account,
right? But in you have mama's tears that unfortunately aren't worth police officers' troubles to fight and find out what really happened to her baby. You know what I mean? And really dig into, because there's hundreds of other crying mothers that are trying to find out the same. But had they had that life insurance, to have that money to hire the best of the best to fight for their kids, I think it'd be a game changer.
That is true. I never thought about that part of it. I thought about the generational wealth, but having the immediate ability, what you can do with it so far as lawyers and everything else. That's another aspect of it. Great aspect. So we might still be high level. People may not really truly understand what we're talking about. Let's break it down a little bit more. So when is the best time to get life insurance?
Today.
So I'm today old.
You're today old. Because you purchased life insurance with your health and your age.
Health and age. Explain that.
So, of course, the younger you are, the better. And the more healthier you are, the better. The better your payment's gonna be, the lower your payment's gonna be.
So I am, let's say, 60 years old with some heart problems and diabetes, and I just got diagnosed with cancer. My prices are, they don't give me a number, but
that one would be with the companies I'm with. That's a no.
That'd be a no
because of the cancer.
Because of the cancer. Let's say the cancer out. Let's say I am 50 years old, high blood pressure, diabetes.
I mean, you could tell me through the roof. I don't know the answer. It's through the roof. I'm just saying, the breakdown, it can be so much, but it's so true. Exactly that, especially in our communities, high blood pressure and diabetes is running rampant.
And
so it's so sad.
Let's flip the coin now. I'm 22. I just had a kid, and I'm going to get a policy for my newborn. How much is that?
For your newborn, it's gonna be, listen, to set your newborn up for life. Simple, honestly. If I say $50, shoot. If you're like, you know what, I can't afford much, but I want to get my new baby covered, it would probably be $4.
$4.
$4. The most basic of basics.
So hold on,
like,
no.
not all the bells and whistles.
$4 a month.
Correct.
$4 a month. Are you? I'm looking at her. So we playing around with eyes right now. So you're saying $48 for the year.
Yes.
$48 for the year. So the new Jordans that I bought my newborn, so everybody can see, is more. They cost more than a year policy for life insurance.
That part.
So I'm at a loss because where do we go back to? Do I need to get a car for you and have you outside of the hospitals for these kids so people will know about this? Because no one knows about this.
No. And one of my things I've actually been wanting to get in the hospitals for that reason.
That's amazing.
To talk to new mothers.
That's amazing.
Gerber's out there, but unfortunately Gerber is not. No knock on Gerber, they do what they do, and they've been around for ages, which is phenomenal. But the benefits with the companies I'm with you have scholarships that you can apply for years down the road if they want to go to college.
Oh, okay. These are people, family, cousins, uncles, aunts, everybody. Listen, these are some things we don't talk about. First of all, we don't like to talk about money in our household. We want to show what we have, but we don't want to talk about how we got it or how we try to keep it. And also, we don't want to talk about mortgages, which is debt. A bill till you die. We don't want to talk about our rent. We don't want to talk about our car payment. We want to talk about death, any of that stuff. And these are conversations we need to have. I'm committed to having these conversations throughout this show to bring on people to help us with these conversations, these difficult conversations. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. 762-333-2032. That's 762-333-2032. Reach out to Cousin Ed's Corner. Make sure that you leave a text there, or you can go ahead at cousinedscorner.com and leave a voicemail for Danielle. I will either play it on the next show. I will definitely forward it to her so she can get back to you. But some of the questions that you may have, no question's a dumb question. We just want to make sure that we can answer all these questions that you may be thinking about. Some things you may have concerns about. I'm not going to keep her long, but I do have one more part I want to go into. So I'm at a job. I've been there forever, and I have insurance, and they're about to let me go. They're downsizing right now. What happens to my insurance?
You would either lose it, or you would have to pay an arm and a leg because you're no longer under that company's plan.
So those 16, 20 years I've been there, I might lose that in policy?
Yeah. It's a 98% chance you're going to lose it.
And if I did want to pay for it, you said it'd be an arm and a leg?
Correct.
Because I'm not paying, because the company's not paying that group price. I'm paying individually now.
Exactly.
Man, oh man. So it's better for me.
I have a great example for you, though.
Okay.
I have a great example for you. So my husband was Army for 5 years. And when he got out, when he transitioned out, they were covered for $400,000 in the Army. So getting out, they said, would you like to convert it to a VGLI, which is the veteran one? He said, how much will it be? For the same amount of coverage, strictly death benefit, it would cost him $1,000 a month to keep that same coverage.
Now, I'm giving you, you already know the jewels, but I'm giving you, because I can't believe that you're not parked outside of these companies with your sign saying, why pay them insurance? You should not, I don't see a benefit to paying for your company insurance, not that you have that as a supplement on top of what you can offer. Am I correct?
Absolutely, 100%. I always recommend people to get coverage outside of, because if you look up, I believe it was Sears, that when they filed bankruptcy, the first thing they got rid of was everyone's life insurance. So all those people that have been working with them for years that were in their 60s all lost coverage.
Now,
and for them
this
to
is a
get a
true
policy at that point, astronomical.
Now, this is a true story for me. I had a policy, and I'm telling I had a policy from young, something that my dad set up, and he was smart enough to set up for me a whole life policy, and I kept that and renewed it and took it over when I was 21. But when I worked for my previous employer, I worked there 16 years, so I thought I had enough coverage. I was a manager. I'm getting 8-9 times my salary and everything else. And the downsizing, it wasn't a downsize. They actually moved the work to another state, and I decided not to stay with them. So that policy I had with them for those 16 years, now, like you said, the price was, they offered it to me. I won't say they didn't offer it to me to keep the policy, but the price didn't make sense at the time. So I went ahead and I found another position, another company. And in doing that, I got life insurance again. Now, no one's educating me during this time about some of the benefits that's out there compared to what I'm thinking. I'm management again, 6-7 times my salary. And, I'm doing $700,000-$800,000 policies, almost $1 million policies through my company. And this time, instead of downsizing, I decided to leave that company. Guess what happens again? The policy stays with the company, or I have a choice to pick it up for myself. And the price that I'm paying for myself didn't make sense. So fortunately for me, like I said, I already had a whole life policy that was with, what do you call it? UIL? Is it UIL? What is it called? IUL? The whole life one that you can borrow against and take money out of.
It's the IUL.
Yep. Okay. So I already had that policy set up, and they were able to convert that policy. Instead of this next company that I went to, instead of going life insurance again, I upped that policy even higher than what I had it before. And now, instead of taking out a full policy with my new company, I decided to do the minimum, just in case, something's better than nothing. They're paying into it. But I've diverted more money towards my IUL, my whole life policy. So that's just my personal story on some ways I saw things. And then after I figured this out, during the pandemic, I started increasing and getting more policies. So I would definitely tell anyone to reach out to, if you have a life insurance person, they used to be part of your family. Your life insurance person used to be part of your family. If you have somebody, go ahead and reach out to them. If you don't, Danielle is definitely here for you. You can talk to about it. Please be sure to get more information. Explore your policy now. See what you have, and have someone look it over. It doesn't have to be, the same person you're with. It could be somebody new. It doesn't have to be Danielle. Even though I definitely recommend her, but it could be somebody else. This definitely is something to explore. And if you have kids, definitely now is the time to get them insured. From day one until, I think you have to wait 30 days before they could be insured.
10 days.
10 days?
10 days.
Okay, so from day 10 until they're 21, is it 21 or 18? They take it over when they're 18?
They can take it over, honestly, they can take it over whenever the parent decides that they're ready.
Okay. So I took mine over, I think, at 21 after getting out of school, but whenever you have a chance, go ahead and have that conversation with your kids and tell them why they're doing it. Instead of you having a bank account for them, save part of it into their life insurance. So I'm speaking on it from my behalf. You have an expert on the line with us, on the show today with us, that can explain it a lot more in detail. I'm just taking the high level over it and making sure that we all are covered. That's my main thing. We all are covered and taken care of, because I say I won't, but I don't like going to GoFundMe and sending money. I'd rather send it to you instead of them taking 20% out anyway. But I don't want to have to send money for somebody's burial. I want you to be able to say, hey, if anything, we're trying to get this life insurance money right now, and I can borrow something and get it right back to you, because we have a big policy that's about to be cashed out. So that's my soapbox. I'm sorry I had to go on it, and thank you, Danielle, for letting me take time on my show to do that. But I get passionate about it because I see this go on, and luckily I've been around good people, and now, including yourself, but good people that were able to inform me of things I didn't know about and things my parents probably didn't know about. So I thank you for what you're doing in the community. It means a lot. Do you have any closing words? And when I say closing, she's going to be back. And I know I just took 10 minutes of the show myself, but she's going to be back. I'm going to bring her back over and over again this year throughout Cousin Ed's Corner. I'm thinking about having her on another segment of When My Sister Wins, We All Win. Because I want you to win out there. I truly want you to win. And I do have some other females that I like to bring you on a panel with to talk about this, because I think with y'all leading the way, we can get our community more into understanding this. So do you have any closing words for Cousin Ed's Corner? And please take some of that time back that I just stole.
You're good. You're good. I love the fact that, you're just as passionate as I am in regards to sharing this with our communities, because, it's an eye opener. Life insurance is not as expensive as people would think, and it's not as boring as people would think. It can do so much more with leaving lasting generational wealth, but also creating the generational wealth while people are still alive. And so for me, that's a huge thing. Definitely, in closing, really and truly, once again, Cousin Ed, thank you so much for having me on. Definitely looking forward to coming back. And I would just say, for people to follow me on my Instagram page, because there I literally just give free game. I just posted a video in regards to just a few things, a few red flags when, interviewing somebody to shop around for life insurance. If you don't want to come to me, just keep those points in mind. But by all means, I am an open book. I'm very good at keeping it real with people. I've let people know, hey, listen, this is what it's gonna be, and this may be an alternative, and in a solution. I'm very solution based. I've even sent, if I can't help people that are unfortunately diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, I refer them out to different companies. I don't get anything off of that, but the fact that they would be able to cover them for, it'll be a payment higher, but they would get covered. For me, as long as they get covered, at the end of the day, I'm happy.
I call it pitching pennies in the fountain of life.
There you go.
As long as you keep pitching pennies, your cup will overflow. So,
Amen.
You mentioned your Instagram. Can you go ahead and give out your Instagram?
Oh yes, my Instagram is Danielle, DAN as in Nancy, IELLE _CIB, B as in boy.
Okay, perfect. And you can also find her on TikTok. What's your TikTok offhand?
It's the same on TikTok. I actually mirrored the the screen name to make sure.
I can find you on TikTok. She, like I said, she's you heard her voice. I'm looking her eye to eye. She's a beautiful spirit. Definitely reach out to her. Just follow her, just to support her, support what she's doing. And if you have any questions, definitely send them via voicemail to me. cousinedscorner.com. Across the top of the page, hit voicemail. Or you can text me 762-333-2032. Send me a text and I'll share them with her. she has a keys to the neighborhood now, keys to her house, and she's welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner any and every time she's want to come bring something to the community. So I do hats off to you, Queen. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll definitely have you back. Everyone, be sure you know I gotta get close to the mic. I love each and every one of y'all. There's nothing you can do about it. Be safe. Do this for you, not only for you, but do it for your family. Peace.
This is AJ Woodson of the Brethren Podcast, just stopping through Cousin Ed's Corner to say this episode, not the other ones, but this one has been brought to you by the Brethren Podcast. That's spelt like bread because we always talking about it and we always getting it.
Hey, Danielle here. I absolutely love and enjoy listening to Cousin Ed's Corner. It's almost like you're literally sitting in your cousin's living room. Puerto Ricans call it a sala, and just kicking back and just cutting up, but always knowing that God is the foundation. Super excited about this podcast.
Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.